People of God, this is the Great Awakening. And this is Waking Up the Masses, Part 2. Now I speak to God's children. I speak to those who want to be a part of God's kingdom. My brothers and sisters, we are in the end times. The voice of reason has been suppressed in this world because the voice of reason is the only thing that can shed light to the people who have been kept in darkness. Now the devil is thriving of keeping God's people in bondage. And in bondage, we can never be free because of what we're being fed and what we're being told. But I just want to reverse the people's minds back to a certain incident that happened. Do you remember during COVID? During COVID, the men of God who are currently now leading our churches, they all agreed that the churches should be closed. They said the church elders were called together. I'm talking about the high men of God, those who are prominent, and those who a lot of people are following, a lot of people have gone to their churches. But those are the very same people that closed down their churches during the darkest time of our lives, or of this generation. Now I'll ask you then and I'll ask you now, where was their faith? If these very same people turned their backs on God when the world was in a spiritual darkness, in a time where we were being attacked left, right, and center, and we could all feel that this is a demonic attack on the people, why weren't we in the houses of God praying, worshiping, and asking God for clarity? Because the world that we are living in, if everything has come through God, why are we all of a sudden taking decisions on our own? The decisions we took social distancing, we took sanitizing, we did things in the church that have never been done. Within the ages, there's only been holy water and there's only been prayer. Now, why did we dilute that during that time? That is because the people of God that were put in front of us, as I had said on my previous video, have failed us. They are not the true men of God because they were afraid. They were afraid to die. They were afraid of the unknown. If there's ever a time ever that we needed the church, it was during the time where the world was in turmoil. But that is exactly the same time that the people that were custodians of the church, they turned away the people. They said, you stand there and I will stand here. Where was God in those sentences? Because God says, love your neighbor like you love yourself. We were supposed to be together because this is something that happened that was unknown, and we were supposed to stick together in prayer because it was a spiritual battle that we were under and that we're still currently going through. But because people have been blinded to seeing the truth of what really is going on, that is why still today you have people that are going to the very same people, as I said, because those people are there at the churches today. They are preaching to you. But where is their faith? Where was their faith then? That is exactly why I said the world is in darkness. And God is raising up his own people to speak the truth that you'd want to ignore because you enjoy going to your church. You enjoy doing what you're doing every Sunday. But I'll ask you this, every Sunday that you go to church, haven't you noticed that on that Sunday, that is the time that you actually decide that you want to be holy? But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're talking about your neighbor, you're speaking about your best friend, you doing things that only you know, and you know that are against everything that probably in the church represents. And then on that Sunday, you want to come and when you portray yourself as someone who's a church-going member, to fool those around you so that they believe that you are a true believer. That is exactly where the problem is, because all of this is what is infuriating God. The more that we are going in the end times, the people are losing the battle. We need to open up our eyes, guys. We need to really be serious about what we're doing in life. We're adults. Some of us can see. Some of us know what's right from wrong. But some of us are afraid to speak the truth. So I'll ask you, if those very same people today are the people that are leading the church, and we are in a spiritual battle, are we safe? Are we protected? I don't think so. If they can sit and agree and not understand where the world currently right now is, then those people really don't have an insight. And how can they not have an insight on what's going on if they're saying that they're spiritual? Because people should know what is currently going on in the world right now. And we, the true children of God, are here to expose those that are lying, that are stealing, that are taking things from people who are desperately needing help. You have old people that are going to church. They are looking for God. They are seeking God in their last days. You have people who still have their lives ahead of them, and that's the youth, that are seeking God for direction. But you have people standing in the middle that are taking money and are saying that they are men of God, but at the same time they're only representing themselves. Now let me tell you something. You will not find God in the church. That as painful as that it is, and I know that there will people that will still be going to the church, but I have told you, you will not find God at the church, because the church was the very same organization that turned its back away from God. No one stood up. No one, it wasn't on the news. No one said this cannot be done. This is the first time, it's unprecedented. They didn't say none of that. They just agreed that, you know what, everybody stay at home so you don't get us sick and we can survive and live another day. Okay, that day has come. We survived. Some of us died, some of us left. We're still here. What are you preaching to us now? Are you preaching to us faith? The faith that you didn't have? Are you preaching to us togetherness, love, the same thing that you couldn't preach to us when we needed it? The world is in a spiritual darkness. That means that there's something that's happened in this world that people are not aware of. And the more that we are ignorant and we're living our lives on a daily, ignoring me, ignoring the voice of reason, ignoring anything that's in the spirit that's telling you that what I'm saying is the truth, well, then that's exactly why our kids are going to fall in the same trap that you've fallen in. I'm speaking to those that want to break a chain. They want to break a chain of darkness upon their lives. God has sent me here to speak the truth, and I will stand on it. So if you already have leaders that are leading us in the Word of God with no faith, then you're having a soulless body of Christ, because those who have been put as custodians of the Word do not believe in the Word. That is the demonic agenda that is on top of the world, because these people are only about enriching themselves. They're only worrying about how many people that they have to come to the church. You bow down to the church. You give your hard work and your earnings and everything that you save up for to come and give it to the church in order to be blessed. How are you going to be blessed when God is not there? You should be giving that money to someone who's homeless, who would rather need it right now, because the world right now has turned its back on those who are less fortunate than you. We are in a spiritual time, ladies and gentlemen, and we need to wake up. We need to pull the wool over our eyes. Do not be looking to be led, but rather go and look for God yourself. You will find God in your room. You need to pick up the Bible, because the Bible is the sword against all the darkness that we are under. Everything that was there has been written, and everything is happening and unfolding in front of our very same eyes. I know there are people who sit here and look at me and say, well, you seem to know it all. I don't know it all. I'm being led by someone who has told me that I should free his people, because time is against us. There are people who would rather keep the people suppressed and keep the people down. And the first thing that I'm starting off with are men of faith, because our men of faith have become the most corrupt people, and they are the ones who are supposed to be freeing God's people. At the churches, we're having pastors sleeping with women. You have pastors impregnating their congregants. You have things at the church that are actually happening that are scary, but no one wants to address it. The church has no longer become a place of worship. It's become a place of gathering for people to do the utmost worst sin that you can think of, because all of those people are not true to themselves, not true to where they're going, and not true to the house of God. So where will you find God in this moment? You will find God in your room. You will go down on your knees and you will pray to God. You build a relationship with God. You have to find God within your darkest times, and God will take you out of those dark times. I am a living testimony of the pain that I've experienced on this earth, that God has put me through. But in all the dark times that I've been in, God has freed me. God has put me and taken me out of the darkest moments of my life. Pain is what got me here. It is not happiness, it is not joy. And the story that I'm about to give you about my life, as much as it's been one of the most painful things that I've ever experienced, but I don't come here today to tell you my pain because of something that I say that it's overcome me. God has given me the spirit and the power to overcome all that pain. And today I'm a free man who stands here rising on anything that is not right. And I'm going to stand for it, and I'm going to free the next generation in terms of them understanding that everything right now that we're being told, we are being misled. The great deception is upon us. You will find God in your room. Start praying, because the dark times are upon us. It is only going to get worse. They are trying to fool us into thinking something's going to change. I'm going to come and be direct on every single topic that will free the people's minds, because the people are locked in a belief system that is not even there. God is the only solution right now.